even like last year, you were like, I'm in and out of the studio. I don't know if that's when you were recording Quaranto or Scaring the Hose.
No, I was doing Scaring the Hose then. Yeah.
But Quaranto's done, right?
Yeah, that's been done for some time. It's been done for some time. But you know, when I had I used to work on albums and stuff, and it, you know, it'd take a few years or whatever. But
yeah, I'm so like, I mean, because it's not my world. Like how, I mean, you hear stories about sessions where people go in and it's like, well, we went in and we did 4 records in a few hours. Like you just hit magic, I guess. And then there's the labor of, oh no, this is taking a lot longer.
Yo, that's what I was saying. I was used to like, you know, going in and just making records real quick and try to get an album out as fast as possible. But when I had worked with Q-Tip on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just learned so much from him. And then it's all about the post. Like you pretty much put these songs down. They're pretty much ideas at that point.
Wasn't Q-Tip didn't you tell me that like you went over there like the first time and you're like, oh, sweet, I'm gonna work with Q-Tip.
Yeah.
And then he just like left.
Disappeared. Yeah. He used to do it all the time. Cause I mean, he's a fucking genius.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know, everybody gonna have their shit. But one time I remember we was recording, he was like, yeah, I'll highlight you. I'll be back in a minute. And then he was like, just run through the verses. Just run through the verses. And I'm down there like rapping the same song like for like 2 hours straight. And he was in the backyard having a barbecue and shit. I'm like, damn, man, invite me to the barbecue.
Yeah.
But that's the boy though. I tap in with him every chance I get.
Yeah. That's gotta be, I don't know, man. I feel like do you still have I mean, not as much, but when you first link up with someone like that, is there a huge kind of, you know, intimidation factor kind of?
I mean,
not intimidation, but you know, like
I was
anxiety.
drinking then, so you know, I had that false fucking false courage and shit. Because you know, my dad used to listen to A Tribe Called Quest. I remember being like taking me to school every day, and he listening to Tribe. That's how I got up on him.
Yeah.
So just being able to work with him was like, you know, trying my best. But he even pulled me to the side one time, like, you know, you can't be coming through here drinking all the time, stumbling around every goddamn way.
Really?
Yeah. So like I remember like probably the last few weeks that I was working with him, he wouldn't let me drink.
No shit. Did you notice a difference in like your, you know, what you put out?
I mean, yeah, in some sense. Because, I mean, you know, you always think like drinking and smoking is going to help with your creativity and some type of shit. But, you know, as far as like me recording vocals, I would always like lay stuff down a little tipsy, but then come back and redo them when I'm sober.
Yeah.
You know, so, but, you know, I was still drinking and stuff in the hotel room while I was writing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But when I would go record, I'd just make sure I was sober.
And did you always get, did you have the thing where last minute shit would be the magic? You know what I mean? Like you're about to wrap up?
It always feels like that. Like when you feel like you're done with the album, and sometimes you just got to stop yourself because it's like a Rubik's Cube in some sense, you know?
Yeah.
You can make one song that'll just change the whole trajectory of the album, and now you're like, oh, it's going this direction. Then you want to make some more songs, you make some more. You got to have a cutoff point. But that's what I was saying.
But that's something you feel out, right?
Yeah. So working with him, he just taught me the art of post. Like you can lay down these ideas, but just keep going over them, tinkering them, figuring out new ways, just think to yourself like you only got one chance to release it, but you got all the time in the world before you put it out. Because once you put it out, it ain't yours no more. You know what I'm saying? So put your best foot forward and show some love to the record. You know, it don't even matter how long they've been sitting around. Because I would think like, man, you know, you record a song and you let it sit around for 2 years. Yeah. And you like, it might get dated, but if good music don't date itself.
That's
know what
true.
I'm saying?
That's the thing about music is that it's forever.
And another thing that I learned is a lot of times, you know, you make these records quick and you put them out, and then 2 years later, you be like, I don't even like this fucking song no more. Yeah. But the people, now you on stage singing it, and you're like, fuck, I hate this shit. So the last
Do you really feel that?
There's a few songs that I have that I'll be like, I hate this shit.
But they want to hear it.
Yeah, but they want to hear that shit. But even like a lot of my songs where they're talking about drugs and shit, and you know me, I'm sober now, so it's almost feel like a, you know, weird for me to be performing that shit. But then when I listen to the actual lyrics and think about what I'm talking about, I was really telling you the downsides of it. So it almost makes more sense for me to perform some of those songs.
That's rad, dude. That's cool as shit.
Because it's almost like, you seen me go through it. I helped you, and now I'm at the end of the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? I beat the game.
It is music. I mean, it is so cool that you can have a song that just hits, and that's forever. People want to hear it forever. That's different than what we like for jokes. Yeah, jokes. People are like, I love that joke, but they know the turn. Like the surprise. If surprise doesn't exist, you kind of lose something in comedy, right? But like in music, it's for fucking ever.
I know. And then you have to perform it forever. Yeah. You're hit.
Like I just literally got so inspired by that new Nas album.
Yeah,
because he's 50. Like, and the
Don't
whole
understand.
album is about him turning 50 and just like, because you always think like rap is like a young man game and like,
Totally.
you know, you age yourself out. But then you're hearing somebody like him at 50 years old at the top of his game. It's like, oh my God.
And he's
like,
been putting out this shit
since
for
he
like-
was 16.
But I'm saying even in the last 2-3 years, he just keeps dropping
yeah.
albums. And you're like,
But I think this one is the best.
The newest
I think,
one.
Yeah, because it's pretty much celebrating him turning 50. And we pretty much watched him grow up
Yeah.
in hip hop. And then hip hop is turning 50 this year. So it's like, this is hip hop's baby right
yeah,
here.
his
You know?
baby. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, his it's been amazing what he's done in the last few years. But yeah, the newest one is incredible.
Yeah, it's so good.
King's Disease 9.
No, it's called Magic 3.
Right.
It's Magic 3. But yeah, pretty much.
He's been
put
putting out. Yeah.
It's crazy because even me, I'd be like, man, you can't be putting out that many albums that quick. But when you listen to him, you realize, you know, because a lot of people, you know, you make music for monetary gain at this point. Now he's just so up, he can get back to not even caring about him making money off the music at this point and just have fun. And
He's
you can
having
hear
fun.
it, and it's coming through, and you can hear it.
Yeah, the dude
That's
also he fucking
cool.
looks 30.
But
Crazy.
also, like I was just thinking that at least in comedy now that I sell tickets and the pressure to make money is a little bit relieved that I'm so much freer now and I say whatever the fuck I want and it's the best feeling. You know, it's because I feel like when you start off, you're like, oh, I can't be so polarizing. I have to like.
Yeah, same thing in music.
Sucks.
Same
Yeah.
thing in music. You be thinking like, man, I gotta make. Because even me with this last album I just made, I remember I was getting to the point of it because it's pretty much just a trauma dump. I went through a bad breakup, so the album was, you know, I always try to talk about what I'm going through, so it was pretty much talking about that. And then, like I said, it's a Rubik's Cube. Then it got started talking about how, you know, I started going down a deeper path of just depression and drugs and all that stuff to, you know, cope with what I was going through. But then it got to the point where it started, you know, me realizing what I'm doing and started to be more about self-help and stuff like that. So it was like every time I was making a song, it was turning into something else. But then it got to the point I was like, fuck, how am I going to perform this shit?
Yeah.
I got to make something that I'm going to be able to go out on the road with because I don't want to be on stage singing these sad-ass songs, you know? But, you know, it's good to have a good team around you where they trust you and be like, you know, and sometimes just give you that assurance that to be like, no, you're doing the right thing. Don't worry about it. Just, you don't even worry about it. People going, so it's getting to the point now I'm more comfortable with being on stage singing those sad songs. Because before I just want to see the crowd damn near jump around and beat themselves up, you know? But somebody told me, and they really stuck with me, was like anybody can go on stage and make motherfuckers jump around. But when you can go on stage and sing songs and got everybody undivided attention and they just looking at you like, oh.
Yeah.
And they really feeling that shit, you know, they can take that home. You know, they take that home with you and it kind of help them and change their shit.
This is so true. And it got me thinking about, I know you probably already saw Taylor Swift live a few times.
I never saw Taylor Swift live.
You know, you're not a huge fan.
I mean, that one song she made, 15, that was a weird one for me, man. I'm like, man, I don't know about this one, man. That's a little creepy.
I know, I'm just kidding. I don't listen to that shit. But she bums. I feel like a lot of her shit's a bummer and kind of adolescent crybabying bullshit. But who the fuck am I? People love her. The arenas are full of people wanting to hear this bitch cry about her relationships and stuff. You know?
I do know I really respect her. The fact that she had went back and re-recorded all her own albums, so she can own the music now. That's like I'm starting to think about that idea. Like, hold up,
that was pretty cool. That is cool.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, see, somebody in stand-up did a similar thing where they had recorded bits that went viral, but that were posted by comedy clubs or like one of these, you know, smaller record companies, like in the beginning of their career, and they realized, oh, I can just go back to a club and record that thing, post it myself, and now it's mine. Yeah, it's definitely a smart thing to do.
Why did Prince change his name to a symbol? Was that because like so they couldn't write about him in the media, or was that a thing with his record company?
I think it was more so him. Yeah, it was something with the record company, but I think he was like trying to it was almost like he was trying to take a stand and like, you know, because I guess the label probably owned the name or something like that.
Right.
And he was like, you know, I could release this music under a sign.
Yeah.
And it's all mine. You know
Talk
what I'm
about
saying?
not having a concept of what's happening. I remember when that was happening, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't have any grasp of it. And everybody being like, the artist formerly known as, I was like, huh? Like I just didn't get it.
I didn't get it. We're too young to even
I was too young to
understand how
understand
money
it.
is made and
Yeah,
how these people get ripped the fuck off.
Because, you know, you can sign a record deal under a name,
Yeah.
and then that label owns that artist. And
Sure.
you can just totally recreate a whole new persona. Like MF Doom used to do that a lot.
Yeah.
And he'd just sign another record deal with somebody else under another name.
Another
and
name.
just put out another album. And
That's
be like,
hilarious. That's the way around.
so
He was like he was
funny.
robbing banks, like, you know.
I just saw a video about, I don't know if you know the story. I think it was about Frank Ocean. Just and I think it's ASAP Rocky talking the video
how
about
he finessed the record company.
Yeah. What did he do?
Because he pretty much, I mean, when you sign record deals, they sign you to an amount of albums. And I think it was something to where, like, he had his last album on the label. I mean, he owed them one more album, and he just pretty much put out an album with pretty much like, I guess, like, I wouldn't say it's throwaways because that album was still amazing too, but gave them an album and hurry up and put it out real quick, and then right after dropped the album on his own terms. It was way better, and it sold more and did everything better. But even back to the Prince thing, just watching his story and stuff and learning about how he, used to perform in those high heels and how hard he used to go, and it ended up fucking his back up and
his hips. And
he ended up starting to have to take Percocets and be on so many drugs, and it got to the point where, he started just, you start buying drugs off the street type shit. He ended up getting caught up with some fentanyl, and that's the way he died. And it's like fucked up shit. Like Michael Jackson and Prince died from drugs. It's like that's the most crazy shit to me.
It's crazy. And there was I'm sure you could find it, but like there's a story about how not that long before Prince died, there was like an emergency landing. Of one of his his plane.
He got them bad pills, man.
He was like, they had to go right to a hospital. He was in crazy pain, and he was like, heart was given out. It's a sad story.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss him. He was a good one.
Yeah. Look at this one. That's what his name was never used in the request. Yeah. Made a landing at 117 after descending 45,000 feet in 17 minutes.
Yeah. Had to get Narcan. So that was fentanyl for sure.
Damn.
Wow.
That's crazy now that motherfuckers is doing drugs so much where they just keep Narcan on them.
Yeah.
And I heard that some people, they don't even want you to hit them with the Narcan because after that they can't get high for like a couple days. They're like, fuck, I was on a good night. You fucked my shit up.
Fuck,
dude.
I'm glad I don't have a fentanyl problem.
Yeah. I mean, when I was in rehab, it was what a lot of people was coming in for.
And people were getting the dirty fent, like,
now they want it. It was like such a thing where people, you figured you get some fentanyl, you're going to die. And now people are like, I want the fentanyl. It's like they developed a tolerance now. Now it's that new shit now that's going on around in Philly. The trank. It's like some tranquilizer type shit. Like I be watching those YouTube videos about Kensington and shit. And that shit just like, drugs is not the deal right now.
Ooh, hey James, did you enjoy that highlight? Why don't you have one more click of fun around here? I don't know. Click here or here. Try it out. Have more fun. Why don't you subscribe? That way, every time a video drops, you can be notified. You can send it to your grandmother. You're not going to miss a moment of denim, okay? Try it out.